Are you ready? Okay. I'll call this meeting to order. Let's stand and recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty. Let's pray. We ask for your presence in this meeting as we strive to be productive and efficient in our discussions. Help us to stay focused and on task. Give us creative ideas and solutions that will bring about positive results. Brief moment for your own intentions. A motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Motion second on the floor. Motion by Commissioner Wyzorek, second by Commissioner Liggett. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Opportunity for public comments. Anyone here who wishes to speak before us today? If there's something on the agenda that you wish to speak about, we'll wait for that item comes up. Anyone from the public wish to speak, address us today? Not seeing anyone come forward, I'll close public comment at this time. Emergency Management Veterans Services. Facilities. Human Resources.
Good morning, Commissioners. Deborah Bransford, Meade County Human Resources. The July report was published for this week, and the only thing I have to add to that is we have been successful at hiring a new Deputy State's Attorney. He will be starting on Monday, and then we were fortunate enough also for Michelle to find someone to help her part-time, which is, I think the approval is later on in the agenda on the consent calendar, or maybe in State's Attorney. But anyway, so we've got some help coming in that area. And I think I had one more that we were going to, I think that one is it for just Deputy State's Attorney. The workers' comp has been updated both with the June and July numbers for this month, because I did not have them in June yet when we had our last meeting. And I've also put together a year-over-year comparison, which I will share with you via email later today. And you can compare, I think I went back to 2022 all the way through current 2026. Other than that, I don't really have anything else. You have any questions for me?
Any questions for Human Resources? Thank you for coming in today.
Okay, thank you.
Let's go back to facilities.
Good morning, Commission. Ben Petrocco, Meade County Facilities Director, here with just a quick report on some of our July and early August workload. Once again, I don't have a lot to report on big projects, as most of our work consisted of our normal work orders. We also had the election set up and tear down at the high school, and that actually went pretty smooth for us. No issues there. It was a little bit smaller than, the area. We had to kind of consolidate some stuff, but overall I think it went pretty good. A total of 64 work orders for the month of July. We did have a couple repairs on the furnace at the main Sturgis highway shop. The air conditioner started freezing up the loop, so we had to tear into the coil and clean the coil inside the furnace really well, and that seemed to get it going again. That unit's pretty darn old too, so at some point we're going to have to do something there to replace both the indoor and outdoor portion of that. Oh, and then the one upstairs too for the break room died, the through the wall type air conditioner, so we were able to get a new unit put in there. That one serves their break room area up there. Other than that, we completed our quarterly air filter replacement and service on all the air handlers and heat pumps. And kind of other than that, we mostly had rally prep, set up and tear down. The rally went fairly smooth for us. We just had a small number of after-hours calls on. We had some radio equipment kind of lock up with a busy signal. I think it was midweek, like Tuesday night around close to midnight. The new Smart Connect system that dispatch is using locked up, but I was able to come in and just reboot a bunch of the hardware that's in our shop, and the power reboot seemed to bring it out of it, so got them back up fairly quickly there. Yeah, so overall we had very few issues during the rally on our side of things. That's kind of all I got to report, I guess, for the month of July and early August. Does anyone have any questions on anything?
The highway shop condenser, you said that, was that on a big shop or was that on the admin side?
On the big shop, yeah. Yeah, that furnace kind of lives in a rough environment out there.
How, do you want to start putting some numbers together for that? It'd probably be wise to possibly get that on.
Yeah, I think so.
At least take a look at it.
Yeah, because especially the outdoor condenser unit is like, I'm surprised it's still working. Like the last 5 years I've been saying that, and it's still kicking along, but it's probably time to...
We've got some assigned money even for this year. We could probably kick over for that if we had to do it before winter, but is it more air conditioning than it is the furnace, or is it both?
Well, it's the whole furnace. I just replaced a bunch of components in though last fall or winter because we had the blower motor go out and some other stuff inside there. So the condenser unit, definitely, that's more of a summer thing though. That's for air conditioning. So it's something we could probably push off till next year. But
we'll nonetheless start getting some numbers together, and because like I said, we'd have some assigned funds that we may not use this year even, that we could possibly look at. It sounds like that'd be something we need to take a look at.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'm going to go on the other side. It seems like ever since I've been on the commission, all I've ever heard is the courthouse is going to go out between the boiler and everything else. And I've been here quite a while, and it's still kicking, and some old parts, Gary, just keep kicking.
So the courthouse is pretty much constant.
Because he's the one that wants to give up on old parts, Talbot.
I just think it'd be a good idea to get us numbers. That doesn't mean we have to go.
Yeah, and you're not talking, the condensing unit outside, you're not talking about a major cost, really. That's probably all I would suggest looking at replacing at this point.
Oh, good. You're not talking about the whole system.
Well, if I wouldn't have just put the new fan and squirrel cage and capacitors and all that in the furnace, I would say yes. But, it's got a brand new blower motor in it, so it should be good for a while. And we resealed some of the duct that was kind of coming apart and stuff like that. So it's mainly that outdoor unit for the air conditioning.
Sure. So I'd be curious what the numbers show.
Yeah. I can get that together.
Any other questions for facilities? Let's move on to...
Can you give me a jingle after the meeting? There is something I want to bring up.
Okay.
It's no big deal.
Yep.
Okay.
Move on to IT.
Morning, Commissioners. Meade County IT, Tony Cummins. July KPI, pretty much on par for time of the year. I'm ready to say too much about the KPI unless you've got any questions. Our security reports on the next screen is on par also. We continue to monitor that and get reports back from our three-letter agency. Well, any questions on that? If not, I got a quick update for last couple of weeks. So overall, the 26th Sturgis Rally was very successful from an IT standpoint. We did not experience any major county IT system outages, and the additional preparation monitoring going into the rally appears to have played off. Doesn't mean that we're sitting idle. Mason and I stayed busy throughout the rally handling the normal day-to-day issues that come with additional staff, temporary work areas, and increased activity. During the first couple of days, most of what we saw were typical startup issues. User account password resets, printer issues, crossing the temporary jail, and other mining support requests. Those were resolved quickly and did not result in any significant disruption. We also had a report of a delayed infrared paging notification on August 11th. From our side, the system appeared to be sending notifications normally, but some recipients have reported several minutes before receiving. With a significant increase in cellular traffic during rally, and carrier congestion was considered a likely factor. We monitored the issue and no continuing program was followed up. We also had a couple of telephone and 911 related events, but more importantly, nothing was partial to the IT county infrastructure. August 12th, Lumen dispatch admin lines temporarily went down. Lumen worked on the issue and the lines were restored shortly after. August 13th, Lumen experienced a larger regional network equipment issue affecting multiple customers and 911 services. During that event, Meade County 911 calls automatically routed to the backup PSAP in Lawrence County, and Lumen escalated the issue to its 911 Enterprise Network Solution Centers, and a resolution was achieved. One of the positive takeaways from the Lumen incident is that the redundancy and coordination that are in place worked the way we're supposed to, so nobody here even noticed it. 911 carried on as normal. Overall, considering the number of temporary users, additional equipment, increased public safety activity, and the increase in population during the rally, we had a very good year. There was plenty of smaller issues for myself and Mason, as mentioned, but nothing that was impact the county. And from an IT perspective, that's exactly the kind of rally I want.
And I think that wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the expertise in which you handled the preparation and all the additional new people that you had to get online and get up to speed. And
yep, it's a team
I
event.
want to commend you
Well, thank you.
for
Appreciate it.
helping that and keeping dispatch and all of our law enforcement, because if you're not up, they're not safe.
Right. Well, I it's not just me. We got a team
I
here,
know.
and it,
Right.
Ben assists greatly in that respect.
Oh, I know
also.
he does.
So,
Yeah. And he kept the jail. He got the downstairs jail going and all that. And
yep.
you guys got a lot of work to do.
It's an interesting couple of weeks for sure.
On the 911 outage, so if there's an outage here, our dispatch reroutes to Pennington. There was no issues with that.
Correct. Lawrence.
Oh,
Yep. Yep. It worked the way it was designed. Fail over.
And likewise, if they have a problem, we pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. I believe what happened was fiber cutting around Denver somewhere. Okay.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Planning. Planning, register deeds. Sheriff's not here today. Treasurer. Any liaisons for these departments, everything to add? Okay. State's Attorney.
Good morning, Michelle Bordewick, Meade County State's Attorney. I thought we had a very successful rally. We had part-time help from Bob Havela come in to help us because we were an attorney short, and that worked extremely well. And he was able to make a court appearance with other attorneys in the office so we could make plea offers or talk to attorneys about, can't settle all the cases, but settling what we could during the rally. So that was very helpful. I do have a request. So as you heard from Deborah in HR, we were able to fill the Deputy State's Attorney position, and he does start on Monday. However, I am asking if we could have a part-time State's Attorney. There is an attorney who has retired, and she was working part-time for Butte County. She's left Butte County, and she's able to, she would like, she reached out about working part-time for Meade County. I think that's great. So you can see my request up on the screen. While we were short an attorney, the 3 other attorneys in the office have divided the magistrate caseload, but it's still a very heavy caseload. And it would be great if we could have the assistance of another part-time attorney to help resolve the backlogs, prevent the future backlogs, and like I said, we can reduce reliance on plea negotiations, and then assist in discovery deadlines. We have a great deal of body-worn cameras that takes a good deal of time to review all of that. So if we could have another attorney help the magistrate attorney with that, it would be extremely helpful. The second document that I provided to the commissioners is just a brief overview of what our office does. What our office does is primarily we prosecute crimes that occur in Meade County. Those numbers are a little old. I don't have 2025, but you can see in 2024 we had 382 felonies, 1,322 misdemeanors. Those were handled primarily by one attorney, and it would, like I said, it would be nice to have some assistance. You can also see how in the middle of the portion of this document, you can see how significantly the caseload has grown beginning in 2015, probably around the time we had neighboring states legalize marijuana, which means that just gets brought into our area. So you can see the significant increase we've had over the years. That document also provides kind of just the highlights of the most common cases that we prosecute for felonies and misdemeanors. And so based on that increased growth that we've seen, if we could have, like I said, another attorney assist us with these cases, I think it would be extremely helpful to the office.
Commissioner Wyzorek, do you have anything to add to that as liaison?
Yeah, a couple things. When I'd made the motion for the temporary, I didn't think they'd fill that position so fast. I do think it makes sense, certainly for the part-time to continue through the year. Michelle's talked about then working her budget and requesting that part-time be for continue going forward as a position. So what I would think would make sense today, or I would support, is that we modify our previous motion that temporary stay in, or that temporary part-time stay through the end of the year. And then when we pass the budget, we add that FTE for a part-time state's attorney position.
Anybody else?
I would agree with that. I think, through the end of the year makes sense. Catching up from what you guys all of those staff. I'm fine with making a motion. Giving the part-time temporary position.
That's in the form of a motion, and is there a second?
Second.
Did you have anything to add?
I think it's great you found somebody who's willing to work part-time, and I think it's something that we need to look at past the end of the year.
Thank you.
Did you second that, Commissioner Wyzorek?
Yes, I did.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any more discussion? Yeah, I would agree with everybody's, like I said, I asked, I was a little surprised to have a full-time get hired and when we made this motion, so I didn't anticipate we'd be right back at this next meeting. But I would agree. So we have a motion and a second on the floor to allow the State Attorney's Office this part-time position until the end of the year. Is there any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any other questions? Rally went fine?
Yes, rally went very well.
How many holdover cases?
I would say all the felonies are held over because those don't get resolved right away. And then I don't have an answer for you on the misdemeanors. What we'll do is we've got a bunch of extra court dates added so we can filter through those misdemeanors before, I don't know what the right word is, releasing them into the regular magistrate calendar. But we've got what's held over are mainly DUIs, so people can get home and figure out what kind of license consequences they're going to have in their home state, what they need to do.
Well, really, despite what the bikers said on about heavy police, really serious crime really did not exist.
Serious crime was very low, and that's because of a police presence in the area who can, get there sooner before things get worse.
Yeah. My dander gets up when I hear about, over police.
Any other questions for the State Attorney's Office? Hey, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Highway. Troy's not here today. Any liaisons have anything?
Yeah, I'll handle the highway.
Okay.
So a couple things on traffic counts. So there's a chart on there. I think if you go to see the amount of traffic that's going to the gun range. Sorry, not your fault. The last one. So in 26, we have, you can see the number of cars that are actually, going into the range now. So in 25, we had 153, I think, and then now we're at 450 plus. So quite a little more traffic going down that road. So I think we've got a new subdivision there, plus we have the gun range in there. Improvements to the road is beneficial.
It took me a while to figure out that chart. Usually you see the later years on the right-hand side. They kind of did it backwards.
I agree.
So it looks like it's dropping. Yeah. So it would be nice maybe if they did use a standard approach. The other thing is the highway department should, almost for every road done on this study, send all that data to Rapid City. Because Rapid City is trying to track that. It's one of the things I've complained on the MPO that they don't really pay attention to the roads in Meade County, and they rightfully threw back, well, you guys got to give us your data. This growth is long term. You need to monitor this growth because to get like MPO money and MPO work, you got to put together a proposed study. You got to submit it, and we not like we have a lot of capacity to do that, so you have to coordinate with Black Hills Council. So
yeah, I'll see if we can get.
Yeah, and he was working with the city to kind of figure out how to get the data, but all these roads in that MPO area should be just sent over automatically.
Yeah, and then there's the other updates on there. The other one is the Haynes project. They are finishing. They should be finishing northbound top lift today, so that'll be half of the road should be completed today. I'm going to say a week before they get the rest of it done. Sounds like everything's going well. I didn't get a chance to talk with Troy, personal reasons.
Earl, do you have anything to add to the other liaison? When we heard anything about, have you heard anything? He's not here, but we wanted to pave that hill right outside the Pennington County line on New Underwood Road. Is that any update on that?
I haven't heard an update on that. I believe they were going to do that. I thought it was scheduled. I
thought so too. I just a little concerned we're starting to run out of time. We still have time.
Which
Yeah.
which spot are you talking
We have
about?
a half a mile
It's
on
about a,
Oh, on New Underwood.
right at the county line.
Have you been on New Underwood?
Yeah.
Is it holding up?
There's pieces that are coming out that were, but that was when it was hot. Which I talked to Troy about, and he said that was to be expected. Got hot.
Hopefully that cool weather set it all.
I've been on Elkvale as much as New Underwood, and that road seems to be holding up. There's, rough spots in places, but it's holding up really well. Smoother than a lot of roads. Any other questions or comments for highway? Now, let's move down to equalization.
Morning, Commission. John Olson, Senior Appraiser with Equalization Office. First up, staff is still working on owner-occupied stuff per Senate Bill 154. It's going pretty smooth for us. We visited 276 commercial properties. Appraisers are back in the field again, and I think we'll be wrapped up probably by mid-September with our actual commercial side of things, and then we can move into building permits. And then we helped with the runoff election stuff as needed. We had Butte County reach out to us. They have a whole new staff that's only a few months old. They're director and appraisers. So they actually came up for a couple days and went in the field with our staff to kind of get a better idea of how we ask questions, what we ask, what to look for as far as commercial properties go. And it went pretty good. And then we also attended a workshop in Belfouche that was a commercial workshop that was actually put on by one of the main commercial guys out of Pennington County. So that was pretty beneficial for us. In the future here, we have Jill will be attending a Sedasis meeting here later this week along with the auditor's office. And then Courtney will be taking basics in September, and Mike and I will be attending our continuing education as well in September, and that's in Pierre for the third week. And then on the next slide, there are the rally stats. Rally was pretty quiet for us too. Went real smooth this year. I think we had very few actual that weren't in compliance, so things went real smooth for us this year. The campgrounds did a real excellent job of keeping their vendors permitted and keeping things flowing smoothly for us. So, as you can see by the numbers, we were down pretty significant from last year, which usually is pretty indicative, a year after a big anniversary year.
But I noticed when you go back a couple of years or whatever, it's all about the same.
Yeah.
It's all about the same.
Yep, drops off pretty hard year after and then starts building back up into
Yeah.
that next big anniversary year. And then I do have some good news that we just received this morning. We got our results back from the Office of Hearing Examiners case from Hunt, and they solidified the county's value that was produced by Mr. Steinley.
Oh, congratulations.
So they do have 30 days if they wish to appeal to circuit court, but we will have to wait to see.
So Hunt appeals consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So is that 3 in a row we've won?
I'd have to go back and look, but I think so, yeah. And this is their first time ever taking us to OHE. Usually we kind of go the circuit court route, but so if any of you would like a copy of that, I can certainly forward that to you.
Sure.
If you forward one to me.
Yep,
Yeah,
I will.
you could. I think probably everyone would like it.
Okay, I will do that.
ACC us on it, please.
Okay. And then I think we have second item under us where there's a vendor refund before you.
Can you explain it to us?
So my understanding, this is a 501c3. They are out of Texas. It's a benevolent organization that came up here. I think they were just basically kind of spreading the word of gospel I think they were stationed out at the Throttle of the Chip. I'm not sure, but they submitted all the paperwork to show their stuff. The only thing I'm uncertain of, there's no anything, indicating their ties to the county locally.
Any other questions, comments on that, and/or action?
So they're requesting a refund.
Correct.
We make them pay regardless.
Correct. We make all vendors pay up front if they wish. Then there's the process, which they did apply within the 10 days preceding the last day of the rally is required.
All of the requirements for a refund.
Is there, I mean, there's really no list to go down. It's
Yeah,
just up-
I mean,
it's
we
at the-
don't.
It's at the commission's discretion.
Correct.
is my
It's at the
understanding.
commission's discretion. I mean, there is no set of.
And we've granted them before and we've not granted them before.
Correct.
It's amazing to me how easy it is to become a nonprofit.
Any other questions, comments, and/or action? And if no action would deny it, is that correct, Ken? Or is it better to just deny? What's that? That's what I thought you would say. Deputy State's Attorney said he'd prefer a motion to deny versus no action.
So, John, quick question. Under South Dakota sales tax ID number, they have Carthage.
They have what?
It says Carthage. I don't know what that means.
And I honestly do not know what that means either. I mean, they had, from the sounds of it, they had, like literatures, Bibles, pamphlets and stuff they were handing out. They weren't, to my knowledge, they weren't really selling anything. They were just kind of spreading the word.
Well, I thought they had shirt sales here.
Does it list shirt sales on there?
Mm-hmm.
Tent shirt sales. Gospel.
So I know these are within our discretion, but when they have associated sales, that's where kind of I start drawing the line. And so I'm going to move to deny because they sold shirts.
Because normally if they have a product, they trade it for donations
Yeah.
rather than a set sale.
Do you
Yeah.
want to include the because they sold shirts in your motion? Asking.
Which one, Doreen?
Well, I'm just saying it could put,
Doreen's over there
it could put a
shaking her-
future commission in a bind if that is a reason, if we give her.
Well, I mean, I can give
That's fine. I'm fine with that. That's why I'm asking the question.
I'm not against pure charitable type activities if they, but if they're having sales that connected with it, I think that becomes slippery because then all of a sudden somebody comes in and says, "Well, I'm a church, but we're selling doodads and tattoos and everything else, but they're all Christian."
I agree with you. I just asked if that's.
Yeah, let's include it then.
Okay. So sales because they had sales. Okay.
That's my.
Do I have a second? Motion and a second on the floor to deny the application. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Yeah,
Thank
any
you
other
for
questions for me?
coming in today.
Thank you.
Could you get me, I would assume the commercial properties that are within the bid boundaries is all in one group?
I would assume so. I don't know that I know what the bid district boundaries are for certain, Doreen. I can reach out to the city and see if they could provide me with that.
Okay.
They have to have in their bid.
It's a separate,
Well, the boundaries can be wonky because it depends on how they set up their bid, but they should have descriptions of all the
Correct.
properties.
it's mainly, it picks up a little bit of Lozelle as well as Maine and goes over there. Can you send me the list of the valuation and the taxes?
For everything in the bid district?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can get something put together for you.
I'm tired of hearing that the taxes that are charged on some of those out-of-state buildings are what is contributing to the high cost of operating in the city of Sturgis. And
Okay.
I would like some real data.
Okay? we can put something together.
I think, John, if they did like a real estate bid, I think it's supposed to be in their ordinance, include the properties, because it's supposed to have a definition of what they're taxing.
It is.
So, yeah, the city should be able to provide it just by providing whatever the ordinance is establishing the bid.
Yep, I'll reach out and get what I need to figure that out.
And if you can include in that data the owner.
Yep, I'll give you
Okay.
everything.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else?
No, I don't believe so. Anything else? So, no, thanks for coming in, John.
All right, thank you.
Brings us to TIF 2 refinance. We have a few gentlemen want to come forward. I'll give you about 10 minutes to go through your stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. I'm Kent Haig. My brother Brian Haig is also here, and I own Elk Creek Properties, Inc. To my left is Dusty Moorhead with Legends West Bank in Spearfish. And to my right is John Way, who actually was our former banker, president of the Bank West branch in Rapid City, and we've hired him as a consultant on various matters, including this one. What you have before you this morning is a refinance request for the tax increment district number 2. As you may know, the TIF 2 is the first TIF that is a successful TIF in Meade County, and I'm proud to report that it's gone very, very well. We accomplished the goals we set out to. The county has received everything that it was promised with regard to replacement of the 141st Street Bridge that was on the replacement list for 10 to 15 years, and it's replaced with an excellent bridge that meets or exceeds all county and state DOT standards. What you're being presented today is a copy of the necessary documents to effectuate the TIF refinance as set forth in the project plan and the developer agreement, and in pursuant to state statute as well. What you see before you is the original bridge that had held up cement trucks, hay trucks, everything, and I don't know how, but that's the original one. And that shows the dry rot that was in the main beams of the old wood bridge. And there's the new bridge. So you see the before and after. I have many more pictures if anybody wants them, but that's kind of an overview. But with the TIF, or I should say without the TIF, none of that not only would not have been possible, but the improvements that we were able to make inside the subdivision with publicly dedicated streets, which has now recently been taken over by a road district. And but in addition to the bridge, about a little over half mile, roughly of not quite a half mile of 141st Street was improved, widened, and paved, improved from gravel to pavement. And then the street that you see going into the eastern entrance of our subdivision is meets all specifications required for Meade County's high-density residential subdivision ordinances. It's quite a bit wider, curb gutter, and those types of things. The growth that has happened since the TIF improvements were made really speak for themselves. Our sales more than doubled in the following years. And I'm extremely happy to report that the TIF loan is on track to pay off at least 3 years early. We think it's going to be could be even more than 4 years paid off early, based on the current performance and based on 2023 numbers. At that time, it showed that the increment was sufficient to pay it off 3 years early, even if nothing else was ever improved out there, ever built. So in other words, no greater increase in that increment. So it is ahead of schedule. It's a very healthy TIF. And again, it's a great example of a public-private partnership. And it worked exactly how TIFs are supposed to work. And we're proud of it, and we appreciate Meade County being a partner in this. I'd like to turn it over to our banker.
Yeah, hello, Commissioners. With Legends West Bank, we are just looking to take on the additional TIF. There is a fee of 1% that we are proposing adding to it, and then we would term that out for the remainder of the years with the 2 payments a year. But with that, we have a proposed interest rate of 7.5%. I believe Bank West was proposing a change to 7.75%, so we came in a little bit less than them to get the refinance done and move forward with the TIF and have it paid off as agreed.
I have about 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Do you care to use it? If you don't, I'll turn it over to the commission.
Yeah.
I might just add, John Way.
Oops, sorry. As Kent mentioned, I was the loan officer that financed this TIF. In addition to that, we also financed the lot development that took place in this district. And just to confirm what Kent said, it was remarkable what the improvements and paving streets and so forth did to sales. I don't know if it was double, but it was doggone close. And there are actually no lots left out there from the original development. So it did exactly what it was supposed to do. The other thing I would mention, staring at that bridge, I don't know if you knew this or not, but in 2017 there was lots of questions about this particular TIF in the legislature. And what was interesting about it was that there was some question about why would we spend TIF dollars to improve a bridge, replace a bridge, as they called it to me, the bridge to nowhere. Well, what I think was beautiful about this, and I commend you for doing this, is to look beyond just the district itself and the improvements in that district and the lots that it helped enhance, but you also took those tax dollars to improve something that needed to be improved. Pictures, I think, tell the story. And what better way to finance a bridge than to let the people that pay the taxes that drive across that bridge every day to pay for it. That's exactly the way TIF is supposed to work. I probably have done 15 to 20 TIF projects in my career, both in Nebraska and in South Dakota, and that's exactly the way TIF is supposed to work. So I'm really tickled that you included that. I consult the city some and say, look, the city, you need to get something out of every one of these things that you do, and that's what you did with this project. So I commend you for doing that.
I just want to make a note that none of the current commissioners were on the board when this TIF was approved.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. I don't see anyone else from the public wishing to speak. I'm going to close. Yes, Kent, you do have about 2 minutes.
By way of a quick update, the amount of lots that are able to be created and obviously new homes to be placed on them has been stopped because of the water capacity, the requirements, our lack of water capacity, I should say, according to the county ordinance as it was passed in July 2022. Since that time, we've been looking at a number of options to address that, and it's amazing that financial institutions don't give a rat's butt about public infrastructure and using that as security, because how you can get the pipes out of the ground and repo your security, all those things. But the bottom line is that I want to commend Legends West Bank for looking at opportunity like a bank used to look at opportunities and say, hey, this is really good for a community. And so what they're also providing the financing for a new Madison well that we will be drilling, hopefully starting drilling by the end of the month. And we anticipate the capacity of that to be, or the production of that to be 300 to 500 gallons per minute free flow to the top. And that will address not only immediate water requirements, but it'll actually translate into sufficient capacity to continue going forward now and getting some new lots platted and continuing with a high level. It's a very upscale area as far as, I think, especially compared to many other subdivisions in the county, and we're proud of it. And a lot of good people have moved out there, but we're very much looking forward to creating more lots out there. Now we've got water on the way. So that's the upstate.
Thank you. You've used your time. I don't see anyone from the public wishing to speak to this. I will close public testimony and offer it up to commission comments and discussion. Questions?
I guess I've taken the lead, so I probably should ask a couple. Just while I wasn't on the commission when this TIF passed, I was on planning. Though planning didn't support all the infrastructure commission actually eventually gave. The planning board had opposed the TIF covering the inside paving because I think it was the developer, even before you bought it, had represented paving would be done, and then essentially I think the planning commission at that time thought it would be inappropriate for a developer to sell saying they're going to pave it and then come back to the commission afterwards and then get the money and argue that they're entitled to get the money to pave it based on their representation. Again, I think that, as I recall, that representation is made by the developer. You acquired the property.
That's correct, yes.
You know, why I think the payments worked out, I was running the numbers, I think in the last year, probably about $300,000 in taxes come in pay against it, looks like to me, in that range. I am troubled by a couple things. Why this TIF is working out, and I've been very frank with you, I think a couple times that I've been very frustrated that you put the county through thousands of hours of work to try to make your numbers work, to justify the expense. And then after we spent thousands of dollars worth of time, then you drop more receipts on us that would have cleared it up much earlier. So your record keeping and your working with the county has been very frustrating for me. It's been caused us a lot of extra work. Mr. Moorhead, I've not worked with you before. We had a nice conversation yesterday. I did appreciate your disclosure of something I had put in, added to the assignment, that county would have most favored nation status, essentially. And you noted to me that, and what that basically means is the developers don't get a better deal than the county does. And you have disclosed to me, and I appreciate that the developers have gotten a better deal than the county. They've gotten money at 7 1/4 back in June.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, one of the reasons I think it requires that the TIF money be broken out is a loan that's essentially almost guaranteed to pay off 3 years early could get better rates than a water system. I appreciate your bank lending against water systems. I work with a lot of water systems. I know that lending's difficult at times. But note backed by government tax revenue that shows payoff will likely be at least 3 years early I would think would get better terms than a much more high risk note on a development water system. So, and I know the rates have been changing.
Right, yeah. I mean, that was our main thing, is rates have been changing. When we priced the original water system rate, they were different at that time. Now we're seeing increased pressure, increased cost of funds.
And I'm not putting it at your feet. For months, we've known that this note's coming due, and the fact that it takes a back burner while rates are creeping up bothers me probably more. And I guess I'm going to ask, Kent, did you ever break out and just market this portion of the debt separately to other banks?
Yes, thank you for asking that, Talbot, because Bank West, who had the loan, did and continued to offer to refinance it at 7.75.
And I want to make sure this is just the TIF debt.
Yes, yes, it had nothing to do with because they flat denied wanting to do the.
So you have supporting paperwork that shows you tried to negotiate just the TIF debt with the bank with this security at Bank West, and they were going to charge you a higher rate for just this debt.
Yes, yeah, that it would be. They provided that in writing to us, as I recall, some time ago, and we were frustrated with them for various reasons anyhow. So what we've also did is present a package to First National Bank. And we were...
When you say package, do you mean all your debt? Or just
No. It was, there's the TIF, and also a development request for land development, and then which included the water increase in water enhancement. And unfortunately, it took about 2.5 to 3 months of time to get back to us, only to find out that, well, we took it to up the ladder, and so we're just not doing that anymore. And we asked, well, what about the TIF package? Well, I didn't really ask them about the TIF package, was what the response we got, even though it had been submitted a long time. So feeling quite frustrated, we requested, I talked with Fran White, that does a lot of work with development, SBA and so forth, and West River Foundation, and she suggested that, I asked, who are you seeing is actually doing business loans or development loans and so forth? And she said, well, one of them is Legends West Bank. And so that prompted a call. It didn't hurt things that John Way used to know, who's now the president of the bank, years and years ago in Nebraska.
Mr. Weiser, was your question answered?
As I understand it, what his statement was is when it was submitted to First National, it included all their debt, not just this debt.
Okay.
There's the relevancy to my question.
Okay.
Albert, let me clarify that. I don't know what all the debt means to you, but all the debt meaning the water system and
the water system, the TIF, I'm sure it included their package was their future build out in that area, which I understand that they're trying to finance at the same time.
that was discussed. But
So,
I can also tell you that Bank West confirmed to me that their quote was prime plus one, which is 7.75. So that's absolutely the case. And I also would add, one other thing I would add, not everybody does TIF loans. There's a handful of banks, handful meaning an overstatement, there's probably 3, at least in Rapid City, that do TIF loans. Some people just aren't comfortable with them, regardless of the backing of the taxing authority of the county. Some just don't do it, and that's why we did a lot of them at Bank West, because it was a niche. So it was presented to a couple of different banks
Oh, Mr. Moorhead, the original note you provided us did not include the point last Wednesday. And then
I was out of town last Wednesday.
okay, well that's when we got it.
Yep.
We got it without the point in it.
Okay.
Did not come from your office, or
I don't know. It probably did. The original request was approved with the 1 point in, though. So if it was sent without it, that was an error.
okay. So if we approved this note without the point, is it possible to take the point out of the note?
Not at this point, no.
Well, it would be possible for the developer to self-fund the point, correct?
That would be up to them.
So what you're saying is approved by your board is they have to pay a point.
Correct. What was approved by the board was to refinance it at its current loan amount at 7.5% fixed with a 1% origination fee.
And the original note didn't show the point being financed, and you don't know why it came that way.
I'm going to guess it was rushed to get documents in. I didn't have a chance to review them since I was on vacation, and they were sent to you guys.
Yeah, I know you guys talked about trying to get this done at the first meeting of the month, and then we got documents last second here. So, we've got other commitments too. I do appreciate you, Mr. Moorhead, on the turnaround of my heavy red line. One other edit I caught is I have the tip terminating in 35, and that would probably need to be clarified that the tax receipts base for 2035 is the last year of tax receipts, so you would actually, my understanding from conferring with the auditor, states confirmed those taxes 2035 due in 2036 would still be part of the note payback. Clarified, though, we all hope it would be paid off way before then.
Correct, yeah. Per our calculations, I think it'd be paid off in 2032.
Yeah, well, I mean, this thing is kind of run, this refinance is kind of run like this whole project to a certain degree, and that is, I get the feeling that the county just is expected to rubber stamp everything. And governments do that, but I do see my job as trying to protect them. So, that's probably all the questions I have. Certainly open it.
Sure. Any other commissioner have any questions?
So the information we have on our board docs for the promissory note did not include the $18,000. Is that right?
The ones in there today have it in there.
Yeah, they submitted an updated one the Thursday. Yeah, and then they submitted a signed one on Friday, I think.
When do we require our information to be on board docs? On Thursday? Is that correct?
Friday, typically, we'll go live with but yeah, we typically have a deadline of Thursday for people to have things in.
I agree with Talbot. I think this is par for the course, right? We consistently get things at the last minute. Very frustrating. And going back to finding the stuff for even finding out all of the information for what's included in the TIF. Tremendous amount of effort was put into that, and then at the end, we got the information we really needed to make it like, oh, that makes sense, right? It's haphazard and it's challenging for us to make sure that we get all the information we need. Very frustrating. I'll leave it at that.
Any other questions, comments from the commission? Questions, comments, and/or action?
I think we should talk about this in executive session.
Certainly.
And take any action after executive.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Charlie, could you repeat that?
He'd like to speak about some of the legal aspects of this in executive session. Fine.
As
Pardon me, I'm Brian Haig.
Yeah, just a brief moment, Brian Haig. Real brief, please.
Why don't you pull the mic up to yourself, Brian?
I'll give you a minute, sir.
I apologize, I have a hearing deficit. That's from what you get from being in a tank and not wearing your earplugs. But if I may, we have a momentum that I think has now changed the playing field. We paid off millions of dollars. We've used a lot of our own resources. Being an old Army guy, I don't believe no excuses they got a saying about it. There's ladies here, so I won't go forward with that. But it's been a very successful TIF. And first of all, I want to apologize for any inconvenience and extra work in getting this thing to the finish line of where it's at now. The point of the matter is, it's your first TIF. There was changeover in county personnel along the way. We had COVID at some point early on, and it's taken a lot of focus and a lot of commitment.
Mr. Haig, if you'd get to your point, you've already went over time.
Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, I would respectfully request the approval of the assignment, because with that we can move forward with the program in a timely and efficient manner. We've also brought John Way aboard to make sure we're more alert to issues than we were before.
Thank you, Mr. Haig. We're going to move on. I think we're going to discuss this in executive session, and then we'll come out. We haven't said what action we're going to take or anything, so we need to discuss some legal aspects. Kent, real fast.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. According to the developer agreement, it says if the developer elects to obtain subsequent financing from a different lender or obtains a different financing package which turns out less favorable than the original loan without first obtaining approval from the county, such approval not to be unreasonably withheld, the county may decline to reimburse the developer for any new origination fees and other costs associated with refinancing. There's a presumption in state statute, and there's a presumption in that developer agreement that it's covered unless we went off and just did it without your all's consent.
Okay, thank you.
Kent, and we have a signed promissory note, don't we?
I'm sorry?
We have a signed promissory note that you've already signed with the bank, correct?
That is not in place.
Well, we have a signed promissory note that was provided to us.
Yes, but that is not in place. They signed that on their own just to get it into you guys so you had something in front of you. But the note is not in place with us. We have not put any debt out there. The debt is not active on our system. It is still a Bank West, so that is not an active loan.
At this point,
I have a comment I would like to make. Kent, as you may recall, I was on planning when you made your initial presentation for this TIF, and at that time, I can remember distinctly telling you I would not vote for it. And I recall you saying you already had firm commitments from the majority of the then commissioners. I do not believe anything connected with this TIF has been timely or efficient, and as a result, it has tainted my view of ever going forward with more TIFs with developers.
Okay, thank you. We're going to go into executive session when we get down there in our agenda. We will come out and discuss legal aspects and contractual aspects of this, and we'll possibly make a decision on this today. So thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Good on the auditor.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dawn Christensen, Auditor. Our July report is available in board docs with all of our apportioning. Actually, I apologize, apportioning was not completed at the time this was uploaded, but the court-appointed attorney fees, billed and payments received, voter registration updates are all in there. And our ongoing projects are still the election. We should be ordering ballots by Friday this week. And then we continue with budget. We have fire department distribution coming up. Last night we stayed and we finished rolling the books from equalization to auditor. Then we will work on max tax, auditor's growth. We do have an upcoming SEDASA's meeting that Christina will attend. And then we're looking to see who will be available to go to the annual county convention in September.
You must feel like you're stuck in the movie Groundhog Day with elections.
A little bit. We're trying to catch up on our regular work from the last election, as well as moving on with all of our regular work and still preparing for the next election.
This was definitely not the year you needed to have the first runoff in history.
Agreed.
Look at all the experience you've gained.
More than she wants.
Right. Any questions on any of that? Questions on the overtime?
Budget reports are also in there through July 2026.
Okay, let's move down to the resolution 2026, changing a polling location for the 2026 general election.
So for the runoff election, we had to change polling locations to the Sturgis Brown High School. Now we are requesting to change that location back to the Sturgis Community Center for the Sturgis precincts because school will be in session.
So move.
Motion is second to pass Meade County Resolution 2026-20, which is to change the polling location for the general election. Any discussion to that motion? None. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign. Motion carries. Let's go down to G5, Rapid City School District Combined Election Agreement.
So Rapid City School District has contacted us wanting to combine for the general election. They have a bond referendum that would be on the ballot. The agreement that is in board docs is the same agreement that was approved for the primary election, just with updated dates.
I would hope this time that the Rapid City School District would, is there any way you can ask them to really advertise where all their polling locations are?
They will, I believe, but part of that before was their polling locations weren't the same as ours, and if they're combining with us, they will be the same polling locations where everybody is used to going to. It'll be on the same ballot. It'll be a smoother election for them. They're also combining with Pennington County.
So you see nothing in this agreement that causes you concern?
No, this is the agreement that we created.
Yes, I understand. So that's what I just thought I'd ask. Ken, you've looked this agreement over. You're good on it? Chief Deputy State Attorney said he's fine with it. Any other questions, comments?
I'll move to approve the agreement.
Second.
Motion is second on the floor to approve the agreement with Rapid City School District for the combined elections for the general. It is for the general, I guess. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Down to communique. Mainly some updates. South Dakota counties, I guess you noticed that they're going to propose a dues increase, possibly the biggest one. Any other questions, comments on these? Not. Does any other commissioner have anything to report or any update?
And I've got a question on SEDC.
Yep, that is something that I intended to bring up last meeting, but forgot. Rhea and myself represent the county at the SEDC. I was just kind of curious how I should handle that, or how we should handle that, if we want to just offer it up to any department head or any staff member, or I guess it's looking for direction.
I mean, do we need to make that decision today?
And we certainly do not, but I don't think we need to name the person, but would you like email to go out asking for someone to apply, or?
Well, the reason that historically that position has always been with whoever was the director of equalization. Since the board was formed. Again, it's the old gray-haired elephant talking about that.
I'm fine with that, but I just,
yeah.
Do we just leave it, and we can
How about Tanya?
I'm certainly fine if she's interested.
Would that be interest to you? To be on the SEDC, be a liaison? I mean, do you have the time for it? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, so if you want to think about it.
All right, then that's not on the agenda, so we can't necessarily take action on that.
So it's a consideration, and I think the other thing we should consider is whether it's equalization or if we go with a executive director or type position or a management county, whether maybe that person's for it, but I mean, at least in the interim, Tanya knows what's going on in the county. We're trying to figure it out. So
And that's why that was there, because during all that time before, equalization and planning was one, headed by one person.
There are meetings tomorrow morning at 7. I don't know what your schedule looks like. That works. And I'll discuss where it's at later. I should be able to be there as well, but well. Okay, let's move on down to the consent calendar. Questions, comments, and/or action on the consent calendar. And/or action.
I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion second on the floor to approve the consent calendar. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Down to executive session. I get a motion to go into executive session for legal, contractual, and personnel.
I'll move to go to exec for legal, contractual, and personnel.
Motion is second on the floor to go into executive session for legal, contractual, and personnel. Any discussion to that motion?
Yes. When we were going through our regular agenda, we skipped planning, and because Tanya was tied up, I wonder if there's any report she wants to give us before we go into exec.
Do you have a report?
Or if what you gave us is self-explanatory and covers everything.
Let's rescind your executive session motion for now.
Tanya Vague, Planning Director. The report is, I don't have anything to add on the report. The only thing I was going to update you on is there's been a team of us working with the City of Piedmont on forming extraterritorial jurisdiction for platting. And they also passed a resolution on August 4th, which will be effective August 31st, that the building permits that were within the 1 mile will become the county's again until the agreements are all in place.
Well, I think that's probably going to be beneficial because we keep getting questions about them anyway. And
yes.
There was some confusion as to we were doing some of the permits but not others, and I think consolidating them, why and things are getting sorted makes sense.
Yeah, that's what that was something that I guess you didn't necessarily request, but it seemed like that was going to benefit your office. Is that correct? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, might be.
The people.
Yeah.
Think it benefits.
The people, yeah. Makes it easier for everyone, it sounds like.
So during the rally, we meet weekly, resume, and we'll take another week off and resume at the end of August. Things seem to be moving forward, and a lot of questions. That's all I had to report. Thank you.
Hey. Down to executive session on our agenda.
Make a motion to go to exec for legal.
Motion to go into executive session for legal, personnel, and contractual. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're now in executive session. I declare us out of executive session at 12:45. Let's go back to TIF 2. It's item F on the agenda.
May I? Sure.
Go ahead, Commissioner Weisort.
So, between when we went to executive session and getting back, I had a discussion independently with the Hags, and they were gracious enough acknowledging some of the history here, that they'd be willing to ensure that the point that the bank is requesting, that they'll pay for that out of pocket, not look for the Meade County taxpayers to cover that. So I'm going to make a motion, and I got to say I appreciate them as kind of making that offer up to try to get something done today, and not push this off where we'd have to feel compelled to maybe go talk to some other financing. So I really did appreciate that, so we can kind of get this thing put to bed. So I'd make a motion to approve the financing for the TIF debt in the amount of $1,862,680 with a loan through Legends West Bank at 7.5 interest. With the Hags paying any points or other financing costs related.
Second that, and I'll echo you. I think I appreciate the conversation with them. Should probably not be the residents' responsibility.
Okay, could Don, could you read the motion back just to make sure we have it right?
Motion to approve the financing for TIF 2 in the amount of $1,862,680 through Legends West Bank with 7.5% interest, with the Hags paying any points or financing costs associated with the loan.
And I'd like the record to show the Commission really appreciates all the extra time that Talbot put into ensuring the county was well covered.
Can you make a point to put that in the minutes, Don, that Mr. Creed would like that added?
Yeah, I'd like to have that.
I'm not gonna.
after 7.5 years, Doreen, finally.
Yes.
We do have
after 7.5 years.
We do have a motion and a second on the floor, and yeah, Talbot, you put in a lot of time on this. I do appreciate that. We do have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'd also make a motion that the Commission authorized me to finalize the assignment language with Legends West Bank, and put the assignment on so that the assignment agreement can be finalized and approved by the Commission at our next meeting.
Motion second on the floor to authorize Commissioner Wyzorek to work on this, the agreement, and to have this on our next meeting's agenda, which will be September 1st. I'm correct on the date, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just for discussion purposes, I think that's a quick turnaround, but I don't expect it. We just have a couple items, and rather than try to edit them on the fly today, I just want to make sure that the bank's comfortable with the language. One of the changes is I've asked the bank for what's commonly in business documents called most favored nation status on the lending. If they have a specific language they like to see, to provide that language.
Oh, good. I would agree. So motion is second on the floor to have Commissioner Wojorek work on this agreement and have it back to the next meeting. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. With that, I believe we've completed our agenda and all business today, and I'll declare us adjourned. Thank you.